Hello everyone, I'm Lindsay Thompson from CBT with Lindsay, and I'm a Pathways coach for the South of Scotland Enterprise. And today, on behalf of Pathways, I would like to talk about procrastination in business. And I think it's really important to say this first. Procrastination is not laziness. Most people who procrastinate are not lazy at all. In fact, they're ambitious, capable, thoughtful people with big ideas. And the issue isn't that they don't care. The issue is that something's getting in the way of the action. So, what is procrastination? Procrastination is when we delay or avoid something that matters, even when we know doing it would help us. And usually it's not really about the task itself, it's about the discomfort that it creates. So we put things off, and not because they're unimportant, but because it feels really uncomfortable, kind of risky, overwhelming, exposing our emotional overload. For people starting out in business, procrastination often shows up when the stakes feel really high. When you're just starting, it's so important. You care deeply about what you're building. So suddenly every decision feels really important and you want to get it right. You want to avoid mistakes. You want the timing to be perfect, the message to be catchy, the product, the website, the post, all of it needs to be perfect. All of it needs to be right. So instead of moving forward, you stop, you stall, you procrastinate. So you procrastinate things like you delay sending that email, or you keep tweaking that offer. You avoid posting on social media. You think about an idea for weeks, and then you just tell yourself you're just need a little more time. You just need to think about it a little more. But underneath it all, it's often driven by emotion. Very often procrastination is driven by fear, uncertainty, perfectionism, self-doubt, and most of all, discomfort. And the discomfort sometimes, is like, what if I do this wrong? What if people judge me? What if I'm not ready yet? A big one is, what if this fails? That's a massive stopper. Also, what if I have to put myself out there on camera and I hate that? And then excuses start. And some of the excuses can sound like, I'll do it tomorrow. I work better under pressure if I just leave everything to the last minute. I just need a little more time. Or one that I quite often do is I need to do more research. I'll read more articles. I'll listen to more podcasts. And another one, I'm waiting until I feel more confident. And then what happens next is that we actually move into procrastination activities. And in business, these can actually look very productive from the outside. Things like you'll reorganise your desk, one that I have done many times. You rewrite your to-do list. You maybe watch more videos, listen to more podcasts. You faff about with your logo. You might rewrite your bio or make another plan. But you still actually don't do the one thing that actually moves the business forward. And the tricky part is that procrastination actually gives us a short-term reward. We avoid the scary task and then we feel immediate relief, and the discomfort goes away, it drops, and we feel safer in that moment. But there's consequences for that, they come later. The task is still there, our confidence can drop, then we can get a bit more stressed, and then momentum slows. And then you start asking yourself negative questions like, why didn't I do this? Why am I like this? So it becomes a cycle and it continues. And this is why procrastination can be so frustrating. It's not about the delay. It becomes a pattern of discomfort and kind of avoidance. And then we get the relief and then we feel stuck. So let's look at this. Let's make this real. So imagine a founder called Sarah. She wants to launch her service as a therapist, but she keeps putting off posting about it online. She tells herself she's still refining her message and it needs to be perfect. But underneath, she's actually afraid that people won't respond, or service won't sell, and it'll fall flat. And there's another example, James, who's a brilliant new offer. He's a photographer, but he spends 3 weeks tweaking that advert for the offer. He keeps changing the wording, and then eventually starts questioning the pricing rather than actually putting it out there and promoting it. Again, it actually looks like work, but it's actually avoidance. And this is what procrastination does. It disguises fear as preparation. So most importantly, how do we beat it? First of all, one of the really important thing is name what's really going on. If you own it and you're very aware of it, it'll help. So instead of saying like, oh, I'm procrastinating again, I'll never get this done, notice what you're avoiding. Say to yourself, I notice that I'm avoiding this task because I'm feeling really worried about it, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. That's a completely different conversation. Because once you recognise that procrastination is actually a discomfort issue and it's not a character flaw, you can do something about it. You can respond differently. Secondly, make the task smaller. Your brain will resist a task that feels too big. It just shuts down. It's too vague, too emotionally loaded. So instead of saying like a really big thing like, I need to launch my business this week, try saying something like, I'm going to write down the first step of how to do that. For example, let's buy my domain name. Third, aim for progress, not perfection. Perfectionism is one of the biggest drivers of procrastination in business. People delay because they think the first version has to be amazing. It doesn't. Your first video can be imperfect. Your first offer, it can change. And your first draft, of course, it can be messy. Just start. Your first post doesn't need to be life-changing. Just doing something is far more powerful than waiting to be perfect. Fourth, use a fast start rule. I love this rule. I use it all the time. One of the most effective things you can say to yourself is, I'll only need to do it for 5 minutes. The 5-minute rule works with me every time. 5 minutes lowers resistance, and then once you start, it's much easier to keep going, because action creates motivation far more often than motivation creates action. We tend to think we need to be ready first, but usually readiness comes after movement and not before it. You'll just get started. 5 minutes, it's not long. Just start. So if I leave you with one thought today, it's this one. Procrastination is often a protection strategy. Your brain's trying to protect you from discomfort, fear, being vulnerable, or uncertain. But the very thing that you're avoiding may be the thing that moves your business forward. So just notice this cycle. Catch that excuse. Shrink the task. Make it really small and manageable. Just start before you feel ready. Really engage into that discomfort and tell yourself what's important. You can deal with this. And remember, momentum is built through action, not overthinking. The goal is not to feel amazing every time. The goal is to move, even with the discomfort. So thank you. Thank you for listening to my talk on procrastination. I have attached some worksheets that you can fill in and address your procrastination and what's keeping you stuck, and then you can do something about it. Thank you.